What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, you guys, and let's get into it. Okay, here we are, sitting at about 2.9 cents on this, the 2nd of February, starting off the month on a down note. I do assume we go a little bit lower, but I think we're going to find support either today or tomorrow. If not, it could be later in the week, but we'll go over all of that. So here we are. I think it's pretty obvious that we've broken out of this triangle to the downside. I'm going to use a line of best fit, and I'll explain why I'm using this line and I'm not doing the wicks, okay? Because I can hear some people, well, if you use the wicks, we're still in this, we're not breaking out yet. And okay, that's fair. But if we use the wicks, why aren't we using this wick? Why am I not using this wick? In which case we already broke out of it. So if we're going to use the wicks, that it doesn't make sense necessarily. So if you're just using this wick, these wicks, you're cherry picking. Okay, I'm not going to cherry pick. I'm going to use the line of best fit here while we're in this insanely volatile times, and just assume the wicks itself are just standard deviations outside of what the normal phase of consolidation would be. You've broken out of this symmetrical triangle. We had one before right here, and you broke out and had a very positive move to the upside. And maybe some people are already connecting the dots that shouldn't be connected. I'll tell you why I don't think they should be connected. But if we moved up this much with this triangle, this one looks a little bigger. Could we move down that much? Could we move down to 1.4 cents, 1.5 cents? Could we retest our previous areas of resistance, find support, and then build from there? It would be a positive thing if we did, right? It would actually be a very positive thing. Maybe not for anybody that bought up here. It'd be a positive thing if we went down there. I don't think we're going to. I don't think we're going to at all. In fact, if I could bet anybody who's watching this video that we're not going to go down there, I would take that bet in a heartbeat. I really don't think we're going to go down there. But the reason why we're addressing it is to prepare anybody if that happens. It's okay if you bought up here and the price goes down. It's okay if you bought up here and the price goes down. It's not okay if you bought up here, the price goes down, and you sell down here at an area where it would likely find dramatic support. It would cascade this thing to higher prices. Like, it'd be everything that you want it to be, right? How many people up here wish they could have bought down here? Okay, and use that logic. If you bought up here and the price is down here and you're thinking about selling, ask yourself, if I didn't buy up here, would I be inclined to buy now? Or would I think it's going lower? And if the answer is, if I didn't buy up here, I'd be inclined to buy now, then then that you're just emotional. The reason why you want to sell is not based off logic, it's based off emotion. So have that conversation with yourself. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think. And the reason we're talking about it is not because I'm predicting it to happen. By the way, talking about this now, if the price goes down here, I'm not going to be like, I told you, I called it. No, I do not expect it. Full-heartedly, I do not expect it. I will say this was a bit more dramatic. This is more intense than I expected. We mentioned it as a possibility, but I definitely very clearly do not expect this to happen. The reason I'm talking about it is not because I expect it to happen, but to reassure anybody, if you were thinking about selling at these areas, that actually it's a very good key, just structurally speaking, area to buy. It'd be a very good buying opportunity. I don't think it's going to happen. So let's stop talking about the things that I don't think are going to happen, right? The only reason that I brought that up is because if we're breaking out of this triangle, could we see a similar move to this, which would take us all the way down there? That's the only reason I brought it up. So let's do that. If you want to compare, if you want to draw dots, connect dots with this triangle and that triangle, let's do that. We're looking at the 4-hour time frame here. Whenever you broke out, look at the volume you had. Look at how much volume that was. We've already started to break out. We're in our third candle. Where's the volume? There's no follow through. Nobody wants to sell, right? No, I mean, maybe some people do. People want to buy this thing is what's going on. Nobody wants to sell. So I think what this is right now, what we're experiencing is a fake out. Fake outs tend to not be long moves. They tend to be very short-lived, and then afterwards you move up, you correct, and you see higher highs, right? Fake outs, whenever you get back into the pattern or whenever you get back beyond the breakout point, it's very indicative that this was just like a psych. It was a psyops to the downside, and really it just throws people off. It gets you off your game plan, anybody who's emotionally charged for what's inevitably going to happen, which is higher prices, right? We're inevitably going to see prices around 10 cents by the end of February, guys. Okay, so if we got lucky enough, right? Think of it this way. If we got lucky enough for the price to go down to 1.5 cents, it's not a bad thing, okay? We're going to be at 10 cents or around there by the end of February, I suspect, okay? But what I do think is going to happen from a high to a low, I would expect that we do find support at the 236 here. which is at this 4-hour closing period there. That's at about 2.67 cents. We could find support there between 2.67. Maybe we go a little bit lower. We find support at like 2.5 cents, somewhere in that zone. That's fine. We could even go lower. I don't suspect that we will find a lower low than these lows, right? And it's kind of funny. I was saying don't use these lines because you're cherry picking if you do, but to be absolutely fair, it's completely possible you could just bounce right off of that. It's ironic, coincidental, maybe it's intentional, I don't know. And oftentimes, to be completely fair with these diagonal lines, you will break them, and that's where you find support, right? That's when you start moving up. Everybody's like, oh no, I broke this imaginary diagonal line. But then they forget that, oh, it's a higher low in a series of higher lows. This is actually a good thing. It's actually an opportunity to buy. You'll see it. If you haven't noticed that by now, you'll see it. Look, we've even got an example of it right here. High here, connecting these highs. Look, as soon as you broke that high, I bet a lot of us were excited we were going to see this was it. We're going to move up, and nope, down, right? So I'm just saying, if we go below that diagonal line, if we go below 2.7 cents, I'm not concerned. It's just a better opportunity to buy. Okay, so don't be concerned. Also with the 4-hour, talking about why I don't think we're going to go down to 1.5 cents. If you look at the 4-hour RSI, okay, we're pretty close to the oversold zone. Now, if we saw a move that took you below the 20, if we saw something like that took you down to this area, that could lead to a move that would take you down to about 1.5 cents, lower than what I'm expecting. But if we look at this, we look at the RSI for what we've been doing, at least since we've had this move up, which we're in the process of now. We're in a different phase now than we were back here, okay? You look at the 4-hour RSI relative to this phase, we found support basically all up in this area just below the oversold zone. And once we did that, we ripped back up immediately. We're very near this area now. We're basically in it, to be completely fair, but a little bit lower, okay? Because we're here at the 40. We're here at the 40. All of these were below the 40. So I want to offer a couple of options here, right? Likely, from a time perspective, we're very near the low. We're very near it. From a price perspective, also, I would expect that we are very near it. I actually had a dream that XCN dropped all the way down to 2.2 cents. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but 2.2 cents would be, I guess that'd be like right at this low here. We'd have like some kind of double bottom. So if that happens, guys, my dreams, I'm a dream walker, man. I'm telling you, it's that Native American blood I got in me. It could happen. I woke up this morning and it was a big red candle. I saw it at 2.2 cents. I don't expect that's going to happen, but I'm just sharing that for fun because it wouldn't. If it happens, I might have to start paying attention to those dreams a little bit more, man. But what I think is going to happen is if we take this, come on, low to high here. Oh man. Okay, we'll get into this in a second. Hold on. I want to go over the RSI. Hold on. We could be finding support here, guys. And again, I wouldn't expect that because we're at the 40. And normally we go a little bit lower, but we could find support here. That's fine. But what I do suspect, I want to offer a couple options. Okay, so either we continue to move down now, we find support. It'll be today or very early tomorrow that we find support. Or we bounce from here, we find another lower high, another lower low, and it takes a little bit. Maybe it's the middle of the week or something that we find support. But soon, very soon, if not the beginning of this coming week, if not the middle of the week, then certainly by the end of this coming week, by the end of the first week of February, I would assume we have found our low and are ready to progress higher for the coming week after that. So if it's not in the proximity of the next coming days, certainly by the end of this coming week and going into the following week, I would expect we're back into our bullish kind of momentum, right? Unless we get some kind of crazy drop, it takes us below the 20, and we can prepare for that if that happens. But personally, if we look at the RSI for what it's worth, you've been living above the 50, right? Most of your readings come in above the 50. When you're below the 50, it's very short-lived. You don't even get into the oversold zone, and when you do, it's very short-lived in itself. We're not looking at this because, again, this was before our bullish move up, right? I'm not cherry-picking, okay? That was all the way back. That was before our bullish move up. We're in a kind of a different zone now, right? And every single time that we found a low here, it's been above the oversold zone. But when we did get to the oversold zone, as soon as we got into it, we got out of it. So if we were to go to the oversold zone, we're looking for a quick reaction out of it. If we were to see prices bounce around this area, we'd want to see something that takes us above the 50 and above these highs afterwards. And I suspect either of those kind of possibilities would happen, if not today, if not tomorrow, sometime by the middle of next week, sometime by the end of the first week of February, okay? And the price that I think we're going to go to, again, is about 2.5 to 2.7 cents. We're at 2.94 cents right now. And then here's something I want to address that I think is kind of interesting. Let's just see. Real quick, high to low. Nope, not that one. Okay. I was just seeing for fun, but from a low to a high here, we're right at our 0.5. And I've noticed, and this just because I've noticed this doesn't mean it has to happen now, but I've noticed, and I've said this in the Discord, that we've been across crypto, not just XCN, but a lot of coins have been finding support at their 0.5s, which is a really odd area. It's not a common area to find support, right? You normally find support at your 382 or your golden ratio or even down here, but the 0.5 is just kind of there as a reference point to the middle of the range. It's a point that you find significance on at times. You know, you can find support and resistance on your way down, but you don't normally bounce off of it, right? That's not normally your low. But lately for crypto, at least over the past month, I've noticed that that actually has been the case. I wonder, do we even have an example of that here? Probably not there. Maybe not so much for XCN, but it is something that I've noticed. Let's see, I wonder just real quick again, hold on. High to low here. I mean, no, that's at the golden ratio, so no, it won't let me pull it. Aren't you letting me pull? There we go. Golden ratio there, yeah. Anyways, maybe we find support here. I guess XCN doesn't have any examples of bouncing off of its 0.5, so that's kind of encouraging, or maybe not encouraging, but that would make sense that we do go down lower to the golden ratio, which is the exact area that you'd expect it to go to normally in these kind of conditions. You find support on the 382, reject the 236, you go to the golden ratio. Right, if you've been watching the channel for the past 2.5 years, you know that this is a classic move that I call for time and time again, where you find support at the 382, you find resistance at the 236, you go down to the golden ratio. If it was the other way around, you find resistance at the 382, you find support at the 236, you're going to go up to the golden ratio, right? That golden ratio is right there at 2.76 to 2.64 cents, right in the range that we're expecting. 2.5 cents being your 786, that's fine, man. And in fact, oftentimes, whenever you bypass the golden ratio, we're going to end the video on this note, you guys. When you bypass the golden ratio from a low to a high, this would be your first attempt in the golden ratio. Yes, you found support back here before, but that was not your first attempt, right? From a low to a high, your fib range wasn't even attainable until here. So this is your first interaction with the golden zone since the fib range formed. If you were to bypass the golden zone and tip the 786, that would actually be a very powerful bottoming signal as well. Generally speaking, whenever you bypass the golden ratio and you find support, specifically, you have to find support at the 786, that triggers a very bullish bounce. You need to shred the golden ratio, find support specifically at the 786, and then get back above the golden ratio. If you can do those three things, that would set you up for a very phenomenal bounce. You don't have to do that to get a phenomenal bounce. I'm just saying, generally speaking, that's what you see with that kind of reaction, or at least that's what I've seen, especially this season for crypto. But what I would expect more so is, again, something in the golden ratio, 2.76 to 2.6 cents. Okay, lower first, then higher. Everything is still going according to plan, you guys. We're going to move up. We're going to see prices above 6 cents probably over the coming weeks. We're going to see prices toward 10 cents by the end of this month, if not sooner. And who knows, man, if it's not there, it's only higher. That's my assumption. If we're not above 8 cents, if we're not in that 8 to 10 cent range by the end of February, it's because we're only above it, right? We're only higher, which would be pretty phenomenal. But I got nothing else to say. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye.